Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Couch Coaches. I am John Lazaron, and I'm joined by my co-host, my good friend, Richard, the bandwagon laddie. Richard, the Warriors, they're back on track, baby. They're back. And also, with them, obviously, the bandwagon probably is all back, all everything's all afloat again.
It's like nothing ever happened, The bandwagon's back in full swing. Everyone's back aboard. A couple of great performances, gutsy performances with, I don't know, you can almost say on the weekend was close to a genuine reserve grade team, I think there was probably only about 3 guys in that team who would be in your starting lineup every week. So I think it was like nine players out. Just absolute scenes at Mount Smart. Sold out once again, John, and I see they've sold out for the next 2 games as well. So the bandwagon's well and truly rolling on.
Yep. No. And for everyone who listens to this, or if you're new to this podcast, I called it before the first game played. Every home game will be a sellout, and so far it's gone true. And I still reckon it's going to happen. I still reckon every game will be a sellout.
I think you're right now. I think I just if it's selling out games 2-3 weeks in advance, then they just make sure they just keep a few wins here and there just to keep the faithful and the bandwagoners on board. And I mean it would be a hell of an achievement in New Zealand to see that happen. It was unheard of.
Well, it's a funny time when you think about it, because it's a time where going on from last year's success into this year, even though we know it's been a bit of a roller coaster season so far in terms of performance, the Warriors are still getting the numbers. 2 games, they're still getting the support, they're still getting they're still selling merchandise. Everything's going well. Whereas, and I'm not saying this to bag rugby or anything like that, because I'm still a rugby fan, but it seems to be going the opposite for rugby in terms of fans and etc. and things, and commercially, commercial wise, things just don't seem to be going the straight. And at the moment, they're going through a governance thing about who should be, who should be sort of controlling the game in New Zealand. So it's a bit of a tricky one, and it's at things are happening for a tricky one for rugby, that is. But that's why I'm saying it's at a time where that's happening. The rugby league sort of boom in New Zealand is happening at a time when sort of rugby is sort of declining. So I'm not trying to mock rugby, but it's a good time to be into rugby league. Or if you're a rugby league fan from '95 or even before that, it's a good time to be a rugby league fan.
Yeah, absolutely. I like rugby. I used to be on a rugby podcast. But this season I don't even know if I've watched a game of Super Rugby, to be honest. I just have been so not interested in it at all. The league's just taken over. I'm watching, probably really getting back into my league as well. I'm probably watching, like I think last season I was probably only watching like 2 or 3 games a weekend, but I'm watching 6 or 7 now. I stayed up till midnight watching the Dragons and the Bulldogs last Thursday night. Like, why? But I just couldn't take my eyes off it. It's just how good's league and how good's the Wars getting up, and State of Origin next week as well, John, which I'm sure we'll touch on soon. Plenty to talk about there, and I'm liking the look of my Mighty Blues.
Yeah, nah, 3-0 to Queensland, mate. But anyway, look, we'll get into all that soon. But look, before we get into reviewing the match on the weekend, which was also another blinder from a team, let's talk about what happened before the game. So basically, from what we know and what's been publicly announced or said out there, is that on match day, Chance pulls up sick, so can't play. So he's had to shift from fullback to 5'8", which was a successful move against Penrith.
And then he was going to centre.
You're right. Yeah, the centre there. And then Harris DeVita was went into 5'8", but then also to a picky, which is fair enough. Good man for putting his family first and going the birth of his child. I don't know if it's happened yet or not. I'm assuming it has, but good man for doing that. But yeah, so basically we were already on the ropes when it comes to getting enough players to fill a team, and it just got hammered again because Rocco Berry was also named at centre, and he was withdrawn as well. But I think that was always going to be the case. I think they knew that Rocco Berry wouldn't play. I think it was just put in there just in case. Just in case, he was able to play. But to be honest, mate, Yeah, so and Dallin as well. Who got the call. He was at church at the time, got the call from Webby. And I think what Dallin was saying that he thought. What did he say? He thought that
He missed some
he'd
training or
forgotten.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd forgotten something or he was late for something. But yeah, we were just telling him, no, you're playing at fullback, and he was just like, sweet as, and we're back in church. So good man for Dallin doing that as well. But yeah. So I just want to talk about the prep. I mean, imagine being a head coach, already you're trying to scramble players, to put a team together, and then this happens to you on game day. I mean, how do you think Webby would have? How would he be? But he seemed pretty calm about it, didn't he? Pretty confident about it still.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was out of his, power. The one thing that probably wasn't his power was the you even touched on it, the Fanua Blake situation, where a guy on $1 million a year, he doesn't want to join in the team song and the celebrations after one of the great round robin wins. I'll say, I'd probably be in my top 10, my top 15. So yeah, when you're making $1 million a year, and it's not a great look, especially when he has been our best player the whole year. I hope he sticks around. I hope he can just refine that love for the Wars, because we've seen it earlier in the season, and we saw it last season. He looked like he was really happy to be there. Like all the boys were getting around him. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he just kind of gets out of this little rut he's in, because yeah, I mean, he's a great player, and it'll be good to get the most out of him for another year. But yeah, I mean, you'd be just like when you saw that Sunday morning, it was just like there's just more, just every hour, like there was we had the lads all had, my betting syndicate, we had a few same game multis on. We had about 3 of them which we had to redo because players were going out. Like first of all, Chance was out, and then Tuapiki was out, and it was just chaos. But Webby just sort of got the team together. Obviously Moala Graham Taufa, coming in for his, I think it was his second NRL game. He had played one game for the Roosters a couple of years ago, but I mean, he looked right at home. I thought he had a great game. He was up against big who we found with as well, so pretty imposing sort of player to come against, probably one of the best centres in the game. I think he was the Dally M Centre of the Year last year. Obviously, Farmers scored a try, but apart from that, I only hit that break as well, but that was more from a bit of loose play. But yeah, Webster must have just been shaking his head and thinking, "What have I done to, deserve this?" But by the end of that game, holy, it was a performance from the boys, and I think you just saw him afterwards, and you could just see he was proud of these guys, and I think he'll probably be rewarding if some of them a little bit more going forward, even when some of these other players are fit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, you got to applaud Webby, right? Like he seemed like he was calm. He came. I mean, the media would have, the media did. Sorry, they did throw the questions at him. How did he handle the situation? And he just seemed, we were still confident. We've got a squad that we're all confident. If there's someone has to play in there, we're confident in that person. So I like his attitude towards it all. And like you said, he had to put in a few players in there. Like you said, like Moala Graham, Tofa. So just playing in there and getting a second game. Like you said, he looked right at home. He was brilliant. I also thought that Pompey. Pompey. Last year. There's a lot of Pompey haters, but he played every game last year, and I just think the 2 games he's played, he's done. He's been brilliant, and I think in the end of the day, it was his kicking boot that helped us out a lot because he got 4 from 4. I think it was 4 from 4.
Yeah,
yeah. So 4 from 4, and it was his boot in the end that got us. His kicking is pretty accurate. So I mean, if it wasn't him there, Tuapiki probably would have been taking the kicks. So to know that you got someone else that can kick that accurately is pretty awesome. But it would have been hard. I mean, especially against an informed Dolphins team. But I still had confidence. I definitely had more confidence on the team playing against the Dolphins rather than Penrith. But we still got it against Penrith, so I believe still that we could do this there. let's get into the game. So, what do you think about the game overall in terms of play and stuff, and where we can improve, etc., and things that you like that you saw, and just some some analysis on some of the players there.
Well, for starters, we needed. I mean, we talked about this a lot on the podcast, but I think it was the fourth game in a row that we haven't scored a point in the first 20 minutes or something like that. Like the commentators are talking about it, and it's just not good enough. We're lucky to have won 2 of those games, but the 2 that we lost, we should have won as well. So we just need to, like these sloppy starts. There was that early era from Kossi, which was a pretty straightforward area. You should be catching that, she should be holding on to that. Probably 19 times out of 20. So just those little errors like that, and just giving the Dolphins, even for Farnworth's try as well, it just kind of showed that. But I think Farnworth's try I wasn't too worried about, because it just looked like a bit of a defensive line that hadn't practiced together. Like there was obviously a lot of moving around.
He's a handful anyway.
That's what I mean. He's a great player. So it's just that for me, it's that first 20 minutes we need to get better. But I think the way that we bounced back, I mean, it was a real similar game to Penrith in a way. We obviously went down early. We made a bit of a comeback. We were still down at halftime. Made a bit of a, sort of nailed that sort of half an hour after halftime. We scored a couple of good tries, and then we just sort of, let a late try in just to sort of get everyone's heart rate up. But then to our in defence of the Wars, they defended well in the final 5 minutes, and came away with the win. I think we've definitely, I'm sure you'd agree, there's been plenty of times we've been in that situation where we've seen it go the other way, and we've the Storm game comes to mind, 2 tries in 3 minutes. So just a great performance. Really good to see some of these more, and like when we talked about a few of the younger guys and how they did, but the likes of sort of Mitch Barnett, Dallin at fullback. I thought Dallin was amazing at fullback. He looks like a new man. He's been a bit flat this year, I think, but he just brought so much energy. I thought Montoya had a massive game under some of those high balls. He's really come a long way in the last few weeks, I reckon, because it was a real weakness in his game. I thought he wasn't going to the high ball, but he kind of got that, set that try for Harris DeVita. And Mitch Barnett again, just so good. Such a well-deserved Origin selection. And Tamari Martin again, like he's probably his 2 best games, easily his 2 best games of the season, I think, last 2 weeks when he's kind of been given the reins. So it's really good to see him playing with some confidence, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when Johnson's back. And obviously Johnson, slots back into the 7. But hopefully he can sort of bring this confidence through. But I just think, we need to start better, but and probably the last 5 minutes not let them score a try. But there's just there was so much to like about that one. I think I almost liked it more than the Penrith one, just because it was just that day it was like a roller coaster in the morning, just seeing all those players come out, and then for us to come away with the win in the end, and hold on. Up the Wars.
Well, I mean, I agree, and just for me, it was about the resilience of the team, the resilience of the squad. There, just they've been put in a situation, but they all put I like the fact they all put their hand up, said we can do this, and I think it was Mitch Barnett and Webster, they were saying in their post presser there. So they were saying basically, we were just in the changing room. We said we can do this. We're confident to do this, and they showed it. But I'm agreeing with you. Like, there's been a few, quite a few slow starts to the games where teams are, quite consistently scoring off if it's not the first set, off the second set against the Warriors, and it takes a try for them just to lift them up and say, well, no, guys, we can't let this happen. It's like it's just they start really softly, and I don't know why. And at the end, there, as because it seems like it's like a pattern. It's like a bit of a pattern where they score early, we come through, we score again, maybe we're down by one try at halftime or something there. Then we come back and win towards close to the end. And then they score a try, and then we just hold on. So it seems to be a bit of a pattern. I know it's only 2 games, but we've seen this before. But yeah, they need to tighten up some areas there. But it's you can't really fault them too much, considering they're just the players. They haven't had a lot of first grade experience and stuff. And it was just good. I mean, Pompey, man, he was brilliant. I thought he was brilliant. And like you said, Dallin as well at the back there played his own game. He didn't just play that sort of traditional fullback game. He just did his own thing, and he took a lot of hit ups as well. That's the thing. He took a lot of hit ups as well, like he tends to do when he's on the wing. So he still played that sort of game, but he did well there. Kossi, yeah, always been a fan of Kossi, but I just don't think he's ready to go back in the first grade. He's been back in a couple of games now, and I just think he's just lacking. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's confidence. We all know he's got the ability. We've seen it before. So I'm putting it down to confidence because he's just making just a few little errors there and here and there. This doesn't look confident to me. And I wonder if, come round 14 where he will be replaced, when the others come in. That's another thing we'll talk about later on. But yeah. Paul Roach, unlucky, ended up starting a hooker instead of Freddie Lussick. I thought he was doing really well. So unlucky. I can't remember what injury he got, but he was taken off and Lussick came on. Thing is, I've always said
it was ankle, I think.
Yeah, his ankle, so he couldn't come back on. Yeah. So unlucky for him because he was actually doing well. And the thing is that with Lussick for me is that he needs to change some of his game around. Like I've always said, I'm a fan of Lussick, and I like his defense. He's very, he's good at tackling, makes a lot of tackles. But one area, I think if you're gonna be the complete hooker. If you're going to be, that complete hooker, if you're an American, I'm not talking about that thing. I'm talking about a position in the team. You need to have a running game. You need to have a running game and a more faster passing game. And I think with Lussick, a lot of his passes are sort of floated. Floating towards the head. He needs to be a bit more faster on his pass, and he doesn't seem to have that big of a running game. I think he took maybe 2 or 3 carries. And I don't think that's really good for a hooker, playing close to 80 minutes. Yeah, so I think he needs to improve his game. If he's going to improve his game, and if he's going to make a dent, he needs to have a running game. And I think Paul Roach has got a running game, which is why, if Lussick wants to stay in contention when Egan comes back, he's going to have to change some bits and pieces of his game. And maybe he does have a running game, he just hasn't used it, but he's got to use it. Because so far, all I'm seeing is just defending and then just getting the ball, being at the ruck, and then just passing it. So that's one thing that I noticed over the game on Sunday. Awesome to have Nyakure back. Obviously, it was awesome to have him back. Especially with Vanua Blake out as well, having him there. But he was there on the edge as well. But he did awesome. He was just menacing through and made a dent through their defense and stuff. Scored an awesome try as well. Pretty much the try that sealed the game. So it was awesome. Took Mario Martin again. Brilliant. And I wonder what they're going to do here because, we all know, I mean, people are going to say, oh, Tamara Martin should stay there. So people are going to say that because Warriors fans are very reactive and they just say they see something good happen, has to stay that way. But Sean Johnson is going to come back. We all know that. So there's no point in arguing about it. Sean Johnson will come back and he will be the halfback. Where does Tamari sit? Because would you keep him at 5'8", or would you still have Harris Tabita there? So that's the question I ask you now. What do you think is going to happen there in that sense?
I'm definitely keeping him at 5'8". It's his jersey to lose. I think he, as I said before, he had been a bit. I don't know. The partnership doesn't seem to be sort of flowing as well as it was last year. But I'm hoping that when Johnson comes back, he might be able to just sort of, I don't know, give Tamari Martin a bit more of a, open field just to sort of, I don't know, we'll take it your way this time. Obviously, it seems like SJ kind of obviously calls the shots. Tamari Martin hasn't traditionally been that sort of more that a big of a running 5'8", but he seems to the last couple of weeks he's had some really good runs. Obviously, scored that try. Just against the Dolphins this week, where he just sort of, used his footwork, and he had no right to score that try, but he managed to get over. So I think the two of them have to play there. But I mean, yeah, Harris Tavares. It was great to see him play his first full 80 minutes of the season, and I thought he was brilliant. Like he obviously scored a try as well off that kick. It was a bit of a funny kick, like there wasn't much going on there, but it just shows, if you Montoya chased it up, and the fact that Harris Tavares was there, and to take the offload and run away and score.
It was one of those awkward ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It was just sort of like it was probably at 20, probably leaned at 20 meters out, but hey, it worked, so we'll take it. It was really good to have. He offered a lot kicking as well, so it took a bit of pressure off Tamari Martin. Tamari Martin also, and it was cool to see with Tamari Martin. Some of that pressure kicks late in the game, he was just putting those little grabbers into the end goal and forced a couple of late dropouts, 2 or 3 late dropouts, which is huge. Just gives the defense, exactly, yeah. So
exactly, yeah.
I think that, Tamari Martin has to be 6 for now. It's whether, Harris Tavita. I think we've talked about this before. He was covering Hooker a bit earlier in the year, so maybe he's your option as opposed to Lussick or Roach. He just offers a little bit more. Also very good defensively. He was a rock defensively this week as well. So there's definitely some headaches for the selection for Weeby in the team there, because there's probably 20 players that you want to get onto the field, but you've only got 17 spots. Like there's going to be, and we have talked about this, but there's going to be 3 really good players at least 3 really good players who aren't making the 17 every week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's Tamari Martin's jersey to lose as well. I think it's also been a bit of a blessing in disguise because Johnson's been carrying the full weight of what's been going on, and you're right. He's the playmaker. He makes the call, but I think this will give him more confidence in for Tamari Martin to actually, go left and give Johnson a break, because he's actually been, doing the load he's taken on is actually taking a toll on him, as we know, injury-wise. So I think that, I think Tamari Martin just needs to, even though maybe it's easier for him to do it from halfback. People think that they're both the same position, but they're very different. They're very different, and in terms of what they do, but a 5'8" can have a good running game. You look at Munster, you look at Jerome Law, they do well when they got the ball in hand as well. So
Ezra Mam, Tommy Dearden, there's some great running 5'8" in the game at the moment.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying that you've got to have. I think if Tamari Martin is going to play 6, he's going to have to do more of that, because that's where he was lacking. You can argue and say that he didn't get much of the ball, which he didn't, because they were always going to the right, which is why there was always an argument where people were saying that the Warriors were so predictable, and you can understand that argument because they were going just to the right, bombing it, and and sometimes they weren't even contesting. Yeah, they weren't even contesting some of the time. There was you can see it was a plan, and they needed just to get a bit more to change. They changed the last couple of games. They've had to change that because they've had no choice. Because they've had no choice, because they haven't got Johnson on there. They've had no choice but to change the game plan a bit, and I think that's why it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise. So, a blessing in disguise in the sense of, okay, we need to change this plan a bit. Tamari can do this. Give him the ball. Let him do this. But it's also a blessing in disguise because, and I think we'll go into this. But let's just wrap up the review quickly. Then we'll go further into round 14 because we've got a bye this week. So I just think that just quickly to wrap up everything here, but in terms of the review, it was a gutsy win, and I think it just speaks volumes of the depth that we have, and also the players that we have that can actually step up and do something, like Dylan Walker playing in number 13, playing in Tohu's jersey, but he was awesome. For someone that is that can play center, they can play in the halves, and not really known as a forward but can do it far out. Maybe sounding biased in here, but he's like the perfect utility. So I don't know why he won't even get a shot, at Origin, because he's like the perfect utility. He can play. He can play in the halves. He can play center. He can play in the forwards. He's like the perfect utility.
Has he played Origin before? He must have at some point.
For some reason, I keep thinking he has, but I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember.
Maybe he hasn't. No, but you're right. He's week in, week out. He's just consistently one of the Warriors' best. Both sides of the ball. I think he had about I was looking at the stats. I think he had about 40 tackles on the weekend. Just plenty of running meters. He's scored a couple of tries this season as well. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, he can cover. I think he's definitely. I think we've talked about it a bit recently, and he's probably doesn't have the pace that he used to. That's for sure. But maybe he could be a bolter for game 3 or something when the Blues are up 2-0.
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, no. So let's just go into round 14 because like you said, let's just talk about the players to come back. So we know that the Warriors have had 2 gutsy wins. I really believe it's a blessing in disguise, and a blessing in disguise because it's put the players who are starters, who are known starters, and probably, and I can't speak on their behalf, but probably felt like they, probably felt comfortable. They'll just walk back into the team. It's probably put them on a little bit of notice as well. You know what I mean? Some of the players there, for example, the players who are playing in the back row. I mean, Kurt Capewell, massive signing for the Warriors. Love the guy, but he might be thinking, oh, will I be playing? Will I be playing as well? Sort of thing. So let's talk about that. So who have we got coming in round 14? I think Rogers back, John Johnson's back, Wade Egan's back.
No, Rogers not back for a few weeks. I think.
Are you sure?
A few more weeks. Last I heard, I thought it was about round 16, but
yeah,
I could be wrong. You might be looking at a different list.
I'm just trying to find that list. Yeah, I had a list and I just lost it now, so where it's gone. So
there's one from a week ago on the WARS website. So it could be which is Roger round 17.
Yeah.
But Capewell's back, Egan's back, Tohu's back, and SJ's back.
Okay, so I've got this report here, but I might have changed a bit. So yeah, you're right. Round 17 for Roger, Rocco Berry's back, Kurt Capewell, John Johnson. Who else? Yeah, Marata Niokora. He's already back already. But then Chance will come back from the sickness. I don't know what he had. He might have just had the flu. I don't know. But so. What do you do? Like, I mean, do you think that's put them on edge a little bit? Like, these players thinking like, "Wow, these guys are doing amazing." Tuapiki, I mean, far out. I wouldn't, blink an eye at having him at fullback. He's good under high ball. He attacks well. He defends well. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like these guys are gonna walk back in, and they probably should. I think it is the mentality of this team. It is, like it's, there's a pecking order, and it's sort of the way it should be. I think we probably haven't seen the best of Capewell so far, but we don't want Barnett playing the second row, do we? I think he's definitely better in the middle. So I think Capewell will come back in when he's fit, and he'll come back into that right edge jersey. Tohu obviously just comes back in. Walker goes to the bench, which probably knocks. You're probably not going to have Dylan Walker on the bench as well, which is a shame. So I don't think it's going to happen. What's that?
I think Walker. Are you saying both of them together? Oh, sorry. I thought you mean I thought you said Walker wouldn't be there.
Oh no. I think Walker will be there and Jazz will be out of the 17.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Jazz
I just think
pretty well.
Yeah, no, Jazz has been last 2 weeks in particular. He's been huge.
Yeah.
And he seems to come on at a time and really bring the energy, But I think those two are quite similar, not just in their their shape and size, but in the way they play and the energy they bring. So I imagine that Walker would go back to the bench, and with just the depth we've got, I don't think we can afford to have both of them on the bench. Nuakore will take one of those bench spots as well. Probably Tom Ale, I imagine, and then sort of Nuakore will cover the second row and in the middle. I think Tom Ale, they're probably not giving him enough minutes still. I think he's been so good, and he's one we're going to look for the future, So I imagine he'll take the bench spot, and then the backlines. It's a hard one, because
that's
I
the
think
hardest one, I think.
Berry will keep his spot, but I mean
And
Rogers almost the one who's like most in. Like especially coming back around 17. If someone's been able to make that left centre their own by then, and it's probably the issue is he's playing at his position where he's not at his best, but he's obviously third in the pecking order for fullback. You could put him out to the wing, but and probably on Montoya's wing, but Montoya's also playing really well, like so. I don't know. Is Roger the one that doesn't? Roger might be the one that. Dare I say
well, he's not coming in for another few more rounds, like you said, after that. So I mean, this is how I. Let's just quickly see if we can, within in a couple of minutes, just put our team together in round 14 and see who's more accurate. I reckon Tuapiki will stay at fullback. Big call. Dallin will be in one wing, Montoya in the other. Pompey will have one centre position, and so will Rocco Berry. And this is for round 14, so because Roger's not coming back till round 17. My 5'8" will be Tamari Martin. Sean Johnson comes in at halfback if he's available. Yeah, he is. Yep. And then my front row will be Egan, Benoit Blake, and I would honestly have they'll probably go. I'll say Bunty because that's how they'll go with it. Bunty. And I think it'll be Tohu, at lock in number 13, and in the second row would be Barnett and Jackson Ford. And I think off the bench you would have Nukuri, obviously. Nukuri is one. I would probably have. I'd rather put Paul Roach rather than Lussick. I would also have Tamale as another one, and I actually didn't think about Catewell, didn't I? And Kurt Catewell on the bench as well. Yeah, that would be my
on the bench.
Yeah, I think so. I think that if you're gonna have, well, he plays in the middle row, so it's either who you gonna sacrifice, Jackson Ford or Mitch Barnett, and I don't think you can sacrifice either because they're both playing well, and I think that Kate will come off the bench, but I think the people who'll be unlucky will be Harris DeVita. I think he'll be unlucky. I didn't say Dylan Walker, did I? Dylan Walker. So Dylan Walker will have one spot. Sorry, Dylan Walker, Catewell, Nuakore, and either Ali or Roach. So it's a hard one. Like you said, it's a hard one. But I've actually got to think about my bench now. Now I'm bringing more names into it. This is the hard thing.
I think you've got about a 7-man bench there. I think.
No. Let me say that again. Dylan Walker definitely. I'm not ruling him out at all. Dylan Walker, definitely. Nuakore. Tom Ale and
I can see this the sweat dripping down your face. You're thinking about it, John.
Yeah, I am. I admit I'm thinking about it. But you see, this is a good headache for Webster there, but I think that's gonna be close to the team. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the bench there, but I think
especially for round 14, it's going to be the question of what happens when Roger comes back for me. But yeah, there's definitely there's a centre spot up for who did you have on the other centre? Berry and Pompey.
Yeah, for round 14. Yeah,
Pompey's done enough to definitely justify that, especially with Leotua. Leotua's still out, so I think Chance will be at the back, and then it'll just be same old. Oh no, because you had Chance on one of your centres, didn't you?
Yeah, so I've stuffed this up.
I've 22-man squad, 22-man team there as well, eh? So
no, don't rely on me for fantasy points, guys. Sorry again. Chance would go into centre, and I think as much as I think he's been playing so well, Pompey would be the one that misses out. Sorry, I missed that chance. See, there's so many players coming back into the fold, and so many players playing out of position. You just forget names and stuff. But I think we need to put this on social media. We'll put the team together. We'll put a 1 to 14 together, and we'll see who's more accurate. Okay, we'll do that. Instead of going on, otherwise we'll be here all night. So,
so maybe we won't snip that bit out because it'll be a bit confusing for the fans.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's the thing. A lot of players. It just says how it's confusing for. I just got confused just right there. But it's going to be a very confusing time for selectors as well, for Webster and players coming in. But it's also a good thing, because they know now that they have to fight for their positions. Something you can't just be complacent about it and just go and walk straight in. So awesome! It's awesome for the team. Let's talk about Origin. Okay, so we've got Origin coming up, and yes, finally we've got an Origin player in the squad. He's not in the starting 17. He's in the squad, but it's the only second time that the Warriors have had a New South Wales State of Origin player come out of the Warriors. So Mitch Barnett, congratulations. I always believed it was going to happen. But I think he deserves to be starting in the side, to be honest. He deserves to be in the 17. I'm not sure why he didn't make it. Yeah, I definitely thought he'd be at least on the bench because his stats don't his stats don't lie, and and Maguire has picked pretty much on form, which is a good thing. But I thought that he would have been the one in there as well. So let's talk about State of Origin. Let's start with New South Wales because that's your side, who I detest, and so a bit of a shake up there, mate. I didn't think. Dylan Edwards. We always said that he deserves to be there, and finally he's getting a shot.
Yeah, great to see. And he put on an absolute clinic on Saturday night against the imposter sharks, as you like to call them, John. Absolute brilliant performance. And saying that, Tedesco also had was very good this week. But Edwards, I think you can't deny how good he's been. The last they're 3-time premiers, so last 4 years he's been probably most consistent player in the game. I think I saw Maguire say something about that. So just happy to see. Hopefully he can step up. He just got that mentality that sort of doesn't look like much, but he's just an absolute mongrel when he gets going. So I'm really looking forward to him getting a go. It was good to see. I think I heard him say that Tedesco was one of the first person to call him up and say, congratulations, good luck. So there's obviously no hard feelings there. Brian To'o and debutant Zach Lomax on the wings.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. I think Madge is talking about picking on form, and I think Lomax has genuinely been one of the form wingers in the game. Obviously, pretty unlucky for the Fox, but I think people talk about the Fox like it's the Fox of 3 years ago. It's not like he's not the player that he probably doesn't get the chance to sort of show off as much as he did when he was at the Storm. But you gotta also playing on he's Lomax has been playing on that right side as well. Obviously, Fox plays on the left, which is where To'o plays, and To'o is he's just an animal, So I'm looking forward to seeing that back three do their thing. Crichton and Swali in the centres. I wasn't too sure about Swali, but good luck to him. He's obviously a good player. So with him going to Union next year, I'm not sure what the point of picking him for Origin is. I feel like there's probably other players you could get, but I think with Bradman Best out at the moment, he would have been the one that I probably would have got, but he's obviously out injured. So maybe they've just sort of get him in there for a year. We talked about the halves last week, John. I think we got it right. I think it obviously there was the Burton Luai question mark. Burton's in the squad. Burton's also been playing some great footy at the Bulldogs, but I think Luai he offers probably that little bit more. We've talked about that sort of spark on the attack of some of these 5'8" in the game, and I think he does deliver that. Obviously not with his usual partner in crime with Cleary out, but Hines. I can't remember why he didn't play last week, but he is carrying an injury, so
Yeah,
It'll be interesting
he
to
came
see.
off with a bit of a calf, like a stiff calf, but he's
Yeah,
fine. But I'm just going to jump in and say that I think he's going to crumble in this game.
Hines
Yeah,
or
I think he's
Luai.
going to crumble. I think you heard it here first. I think that I think he's a great player. Like gets more Delian points than he should, but I just think that he will crumble under the pressure of State of Origin. That's how I feel. And no disrespect to him, but I just think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to get monstered by Queensland. Well, I think the whole team's going to get monstered by Queensland. But yeah, so yeah,
Is
that's
this
my
Freddie Fittler coming through on you or something like that after Hines' one appearance where he got blamed for the loss, and then
I wouldn't have blamed
we'll
him, but
we'll agree to disagree on that one.
oh,
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah.
what does he need to do to prove himself? Like, he's
Oh,
playing so good.
he's proven himself to get there, which is why he's there. I wouldn't have been a fiddler and blamed him for the last the game because that was unfair on him. But I'm saying that in this game coming up, I think he's gonna crumble, and that's my prediction. And if I'm wrong, I'll admittedly say, yep, I got it wrong. But I just think that's what's going to happen. I think I think it's not gonna work. And then there'll be a big shake up and round
I'll hold
the
you to
second
that.
game. Yep.
John
Yep.
Hines. This is a little reminder for myself for episode in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
Heading into the 4-pack. Jake Trebojevic getting the captain's armband, pretty well deserved. He's always playing a prop, but he's been there, done that. So Reece Robson, number 9, pretty surprising for me. I thought that Coruscant would, I thought. I mean, he's not playing in a great team, but I mean, I don't know if you saw that Tigers Cowboys game on the weekend, but I mean, he played. They just took him off for 5 months ago because he was just so buggered because he just was everywhere. He was doing everything. So I mean, I don't know what else he needs to do. I probably haven't watched enough of the Cowboys this year to really make any sort of big calls on it. But like the Cowboys haven't been great. There's like 6 or 7 Cowboys playing in Origin, but like it's just. I don't know. There needs to be some sort of investigation there, Like I suppose it's the Queenslanders love them, but
they're all good.
yeah, I don't know. There's a few of them I wouldn't put in the team myself. That's I think myself, and then
They've gone about it different ways, haven't they? Like with Billy Slater and Michael Maguire, because Billy Slater sort of kept loyal to some people. Yeah, whereas Maguire's gone differently. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised about the Reece Robson selection as well. I'm not surprised about Payne Haas being there. Liam Martin, not surprised. I am surprised about Angus Crichton. I didn't even think he was in contention. But
what have you been watching the Roosters this year?
Yeah, no. I didn't think he was in contention.
He's been so
I think
good.
he's been playing awesome. He has been playing awesome as well. But he's also on the brink of leaving the Roosters as well because they haven't offered him anything. Because he even came on and he was pretty sour about them signing Fafita, in a position that he plays in. So I think I'm agreeing with you. Like I think he's awesome and he's been playing really well. But I just didn't think he was in contention. I didn't think he was.
Oh no, there's been the talk. There's definitely been a lot of talk about that.
Well, because I would have thought that for example, Isaiah Yeo would have been 13, and maybe Cameron McInnes can play 12, even though he doesn't play that normally. But going there, Cameron McInnes playing 13, so Isaiah Yeo's been brought to the bench, and I mean, I would have. I mean,
look at the rest of that bench though. How good's the bench? There's some mongrel there, that's for sure.
I would have Mitch Barnett over Hudson Young every day, any day, because Mitch Barnett can play.
I get where you're coming from. But Hudson Young is like one of the most underrated players in the game. He has been playing so good.
He is good. I'm not denying that, but I'm talking about.
I might have Barnett over there over Leniu maybe because Leniu hasn't played he's only played like 4 games this season.
Yeah.
But there obviously there's going to be some interesting. I think it'll be a few guys in the Queensland team who'll be out for Leniu's head. I think so. Should make for some interesting state of origin head ups. I think.
Yeah. No, honestly, I just think that Barnett and call it bias, call it whatever you want. I just think Barnett can cover front row and second row. and that's something that you'd want to have. And he's got the origin mongrel in him as well. I think he's got more mongrel than Hudson Young, and that's just me being honest. That's just not being biased. That's being honest. That's why I thought he would have been in the 17, but at least he's in the squad, and
there's enough mongrel in that team. That team already. We don't need any more.
Yeah, the footy show with Matty Johns show. They were talking about Mitch Barnett. They were talking about he's just a scary guy, Mitch Barnett. He's just you look at him and he's like an army sergeant, sort of thing. An army
definitely look
general.
about him.
Yeah, it's got that look about him where you don't mess with him. So yeah, glad he's with the Warriors. But that's how. So how are you feeling about this team though? It's your team. How are you feeling about the team?
I'm feeling good. Yeah,
Yep.
I like the addition of Edwards. I said I enjoy Lomax in there. I hope he can kind of provide some spark.
Yeah.
Extra kicking option as well. And he loves a 2-point field goal if we need it. And then I would have liked to see Barnett in there, but I don't know who I would take out. Maybe, as I said, maybe Leniu. Maybe I'll take Leniu out. And I think we will see Barnett. Maybe for games 2-3, I think, depending on how the results go, I'm sure he'll get a run because he has been playing far too good to be left out. But like Crichton's been playing amazing. Hudson Young's been playing awesome. Ola Kawatu and Ken McGinnis getting the start. I was a bit surprised about that. Yeah, but he's just a workhorse, and he's the sort of guy who's built for Origin. Like he'll come out with 3 broken teeth, and he'll have a broken eye socket, but he'll just keep playing. So, I don't mind it at all. I'm excited to see how some of these new fellas go.
Yep. Well, that's a big talking point, the New South Wales State of Origin team, but Queensland pretty much picked themselves. That's nothing too surprising there. I personally, so let's just quickly go through the teams. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, but you got fullback Walsh, Xavier Coates at wing, Valentine Holmes at centre, along with Torboy Fido. The other wing, Murray Tuolangi, Tom Dearden at 5'8", Daly Cherry Evans at halfback, Ruben Cotter front row, Ben Hunt at hooker, Lindsay Collins front row, Jaden Sewer 11, Jeremiah Nine at 12, and 13, Paddy Garrigan. And the bench, Harry Grant, Pochueka, Hopgood, and Cobbo. I was really surprised that Cobbo was on the bench. I thought I would have him over Tuolangi any day. I would have him on the wing over Tuolangi any day. So that was the big surprise to me, that he would be on the bench. And I would put Cobbo onto the wing, and then I'd be taking Tuolangi out altogether, and I'd put Kafisi or Ezra Mam in the 14 because Kafisi and Mam, are in the reserves. So nothing.
Well, I feel like Kaufusi is one of those players that should, what Dan Gagai used to be like. It didn't matter how he was playing, and NRL, they would always pick him for Origin, and he'd always score 2 or 3 tries. I just feel like Kaufusi is one of those players who should be in that same boat. He traditionally has been so good in Origin. Just puts the biggest hits on, just brings so much intensity. I know he's been injured a bit this year, but I would have thought definitely have him on the bench. Tuolangi, he hasn't. As I said, there's far too many Cowboys in there for my liking. And I would start Mam over Dearden, although I like Dearden, but I just feel like Mam.
I'm happy with Dearden being there, but I just thought Tuolangi. I just thought Cobbo would easily, because Cobbo's been in form. He's been really playing well, and I just think that he would suit it better. So that would be mine. The other surprise non-selection was David Fifita. Usually, walks into the Queensland team, but not this year. He's been getting a lot of noise off of Fifita. He's been playing well the last few games. So the Titans have been playing pretty well, but not enough to make the Queensland team this year. And maybe we'll see him again. Just like Barnett, maybe you'll see him in the game 2 or 3, or maybe who knows. But I think the Queensland team picks itself, and just other than the Cobbo thing and Kafisi thing, I just think it's pretty straightforward team, and I think they're gonna roll you, New South Wales. So well, New South Welshmen. I said New South Whalers. That's not the way to say it. Sorry.
The dawning of a new age.
Yeah, it is. Is it
for the Blues?
Yeah,
new
nah.
coach, few new 60 debutants. You know, we're just going to rid ourselves of the last 20 years and go forward.
If New South Wales win
As
the
long as it's
series,
not as
I
bad
would.
as the 2020 series, that's all I ask. That 2020 series is one of the most disgraceful things I've ever seen in my life, and
Yeah.
it will never leave my memory as much as I want it to.
Well, let's this is the don't condone violence, but wouldn't mind a bit of biff in the game as well. Wouldn't mind a bit of biff. So let's hope let's hope this there'll be an exciting game, and I just think that Queensland's going to roll you, and if Queensland lose the series, I will come on here on video and have a say I love New South Wales on a hat or something, just to as a way.
I'll
That's how
send you.
confident I am that you're going
I'll
to get
send you
rolled.
my jersey. Yeah, I'll send you my jersey. You can wear that.
All right. It's done. I will do it, and that's how confident I am that New South Wales is going to get rolled in this series. So yeah,
Good luck. Well,
yeah.
we will.
Tedesco's already training, because he's going to be back for game 2. So yeah, yeah,
No. I just quickly realised we haven't done the Wiley M's. So should we just go through real quickly and just give the points out because we're running a bit quick on time. But I've got Barnett for my 3, Tamari Martin for my 2, and DWZ for 1.
Nice. Yeah, mine are very similar. I've got Barnett for 3. I had Tamari Martin at 2 as well. And I couldn't pick between. I was really tossing up between Pompey, because I was just again, I thought he had an amazing game, and I just thought he was good on defense, good on attack, and I think he was just solid, and his kicking game got us there. So actually, I'm just gonna give it to Pompey. I was gonna say Dylan Walker was the other person that I was really tossing it up with, but Pompey. I'll give it to Pompey this one.
Fair enough. Pompey's on the board.
Yep.
Congrats if you're listening.
Yep.
Sweet. Was it? I think we're pretty much finished with Origin there. You want to go through into tips?
Should be a shorter week with Origin coming up. So
yeah,
only
exactly.
5 games on this week. So
only 5 games. So big week for John last week. Picked up 5 points. I only picked up 3. So you're just sneaking your way back. So neither of us got the Dragon. Neither of us.
Doing a Warriors comeback.
Picked the Bulldogs. We both had the Dragons. You picked the Cowboys. I picked the Tigers for some reason. Neither of us picked the Seagulls. Huge upset there, I thought, over the Storm. That was a wild round, man. Absolute wild round. Roosters, we both had, and they played against the Raiders. Yep. We both had the Panthers, who absolutely smoked the Sharks by about 30-odd points. I picked the Eels for some reason. You picked the Rabbitohs. So, yeah, Rabbitohs all of a sudden scoring 42 points.
Who did I pick?
You put the Rabbitohs, so you got the point there.
You went.
Neither of us put the Titans. Another massive upset. Just absolutely love to see it.
And then
awesome. we both had the Wars, obviously. So tips. I'm on 59. You're on 56 now. So you're slowly getting closer. So we've got 5 games this week. Eels versus Sharks. Eels $1.72 favourites. Obviously got Moses and Gutherson back. It's the big talking point there. Braden Trindle back for the Sharks, which is the big talking point there. I'm going to go with the Sharks.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different team, isn't it? With Moses coming back, it changes a lot. It changes the dynamics of the team a lot. And you've got who else have you got coming back in? You got Clint Gutherson, like you said, Mitchell Moses, Ryan Madison, Will Penasini. It looks like not a bad team, especially when you're putting guys who are doing really well like Blaze Talangi on the bench. So, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Fair enough. I mean, Moses and Gutherson, big ends, but Moses hasn't played in about 8 or 9 weeks, has he? So
Sharks are imposters, mate. I told you. Look at that hiding they got from Brisbane. Come on. I mean, I know that the Wars sparked the Penrith up because of the fact that we beat them, but
they beat the Roosters and the Storm without Hines. So I'll give benefit of the doubt.
Just quickly, I can't remember where I heard this or read this, but it was mentioned that because you know how I'm not the only one that thinks Sharks are imposters. A lot of people actually think this. So there was talk where they thought that
Who's the
going in.
bandwagoner now, John?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good,
no, they
Josh.
thought they thought they were going in. They were going into the games again. People were saying, "Oh, they're beating these teams, but they're not beating like the likes of the top 4 teams or something." So, and they proved it against the Roosters and the Storm, right? And people were like, so they had a motivation because people were writing them off. So they did that, and because they went into the third game against another top team against Penrith, I think people thought that they were like, their mentality was, oh, look, we've proven it. So they went out there with that. So we've proven ourselves. We know we can do this, instead of with the previous mentality and what maybe undone them a bit. That's what's I'm not saying it word for word how it was said, but I can understand what they were saying. So I still think they're imposters, and I think Eels might have one in the dual win. So yeah, Eels for me.
They are dual win. I'll give you that. And I do love that
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
as a fact. But we'll go opposite sides of that. So someone's going to be in the chocolates there. Knights
Yeah.
Bulldogs on Friday night, like 10 o'clock. No Ponga for the Knights still. Bulldogs have got Hutchinson and Sexton in the halves with Burton on Origin duty. It's probably the main talking points there. Dogs coming off a huge win over the Drags. One of the most ridiculous second halves of footy I've seen in my life, and I think they'll bring that momentum in and come through and take down the Knights at Donald Jones Stadium.
Yeah, I don't like pinning on the Knights. I don't really like them at all, but I think they'll win this one. So I've got Knights.
Okay, good to see we're on
They haven't been
sides
impacted. They haven't been impacted by state of origin, if you get what I mean. So
no, they haven't. They haven't at all. No, not one
so
player.
that gives them a bit of an edge there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I suppose Burton's a pretty massive out, but there's still got a few players there.
Yeah.
Panthers, Dragons. Speaking of teams affected by state of origin, Dane Laurie playing fullback. You've got Jesse McLean on the wing for the Penrith. Jack Cole and Brad Schneider playing in the halves. And Liam Henry playing second row. Lindsay Smith playing lock. So there's plenty of outs for the Panthers.
Still a good team though, right?
They're still big favourites, still $1.38 favourites.
Yeah.
And the Dragons are coming off that big loss to the Bulldogs, and also are missing Ben Hunt and Jaden Stewart, and Zach Lomax. So it's hard to sort of, even though Penrith have got so many outs, I think it's hard to sort of, for me to be swayed. So I'm sticking with the Penny Peas.
Yeah, me too.
Dolphins, Raiders.
I know who you're going for, but
oh man, I love the Raiders.
Love the Raiders. So that's already I already know who you're going for.
Mind you, the Dolphins are only missing. They're missing the Hammer and Kalfusi. Yeah. I'll go the Raiders. Coming off. No, they're coming off a loss, aren't they? To the Roosters, who were, and when the Roosters are on, they are very good to watch. I'll back the Raiders to come back from that.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna go the Dragons. Sorry, not Dragons, the Dolphins. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, my bad. The Dolphins.
It's getting late.
Yeah, it's getting late.
And Roosters, Cowboys to finish it off. Yeah, as we mentioned before, Cowboys are missing seven of their starters. Roosters only missing Suwali and Keary, but I think Keary is rumoured that he'll still play because he's only there to cover if Hines is not playing. So I'm more than happy to take the Roosters.
Well, he's still listed to start.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's only if Hines pulls out before then, or looks like it will. I think, from what I can tell.
Yeah. No, I'm going with Roosters as well.
Still doesn't take away from the fact that the Cowboys will be without, their hooker, 5'8", one of the second rowers, one of the wingers, one centre. Yeah,
I mean, imagine Todd Payton thinking I've lost all these players, and just our luck. We still have to play during
Yeah.
Origin week, and then we have to play the Roosters pretty much at full strength as well. Even though they've got a lot of out because of injury as well, but well, Crichton, Spencer, Lindsay Collins, but yeah, I still think they're still got Tedesco, they've still got Joseph Manu, Dominic Young, Luke Carey, Sam Walker, still got pretty much got their spine. You know what I mean?
Got the spine, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much got their spine. So I think and Victor Radley,
May.
yeah, no, I think
May.
they'll be fine. I think the Roosters will be fine. Yeah.
What's the May brother that plays for them?
Yeah.
That's Tyrrell, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor's the bad one.
Yep.
Sweet as, mate.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to Origin. I'll tell you what, that chat's got me really, really pissed up for next week.
Yep. No. Well, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a banter between yourself and I, before we get into that. But into that game. But I still think I honestly think it's going to be a 3-0 drubbing. What do you think? What is your predicted, outcome of Origin?
It's not going to be 3-0. It'll be 2-1 to the Blues.
Yeah. What was that? Sorry, I'm not going
to be such a moron and say it's going to be 3-0. It's Origin.
It's
2-1.
It's happening. It's happening. 2-1 to who?
To the Blues. To the Blues.
Oh, come on. No, that's being a moron. No, that's being a moron right there. New South Wales, come on. All right. Well, anyway, thanks for everyone for listening tonight. That's all we have for tonight. Apologies on my predicted round 14 Warriors team. As I'm pretty sure many people will be doing when they, if you're a true Warriors fan, trying to figure out who will be, coming in and who will be left out of the team. Going to be very, very hard because there's so many players, to toss up and stuff. So many players that put their hand up. So it's going to be an interesting one. So if you heard that part of the podcast, sorry, my apologies. I'll write it down and we'll put it on social media instead. But again, thanks everyone. We appreciate your support. The support is growing for this podcast. I'm really, really thankful. Before we go, just don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give us a like as well. And thanks again for joining us, Coaches. Good night, everyone.
Choo, 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 choo.